Welcome. Good morning. My name is Eric Goldman, and I'm a professor of law and director of the High Tech Law Institute at Santa Clara University School of Law. This is a one-off pitch event, a pitch competition that we've arranged specially for attendees of the Works in Progress in IP, often known as WIPIP. And for those of you in the audience from WIPIP, welcome. This is my first chance to say hello, but we have more to say to you over the course of the next 2 days. The reason why we put this event together was to try and give you a sense about how innovation works here in the Silicon Valley. We teach it in our classes, we study it in our cases and in our statutes, we talk about it in policy circles, but innovation takes many forms, and we thought this might give you a flavor of how the innovation discussions occur here in the Silicon Valley. You'll see that IP is an important part of the conversation, but it's only one part. And in some cases, it often gets relegated to the back half of the deck, may not even be in some of the decks that we see today. That's not first and foremost on the minds of the entrepreneurs who are trying to launch their businesses. For me, when I thought about what would give you a flavor of how things go down here in the Silicon Valley, seeing entrepreneurship at its earliest stages, at its rawest form, is really what we do here. This is how the conversation goes. And so we'll see how today's conversation goes, but my guess is this is about the kind of way that, that these kinds of conversations replicate themselves every day, over and over again, all the way up and down the 101. The last thing I want to point out is that today we're going to be gathering a variety of different communities. We're gathering the investors, we're gathering the entrepreneurs, we're gathering the service providers, people like the lawyers, and we're all talking to each other, and that's a common part of a conversation in any kind of successful startup environment. And so this is also a little microcosm of the way that the communities come together to help birth new companies. This event, it could not have happened without several different players to make it happen. I first would like to thank 01, not only for providing the space, but for giving us that interesting tour before we got started, a little bit of different slice of the way conversations might take place than we might ordinarily focus on in our normal discussions. Thank you, 01, for all the help that you've done to get us here. I want to thank the judges and the panelists for coming here. It wouldn't be an event without you. And I especially want to thank Roger Royse, who I'm going to introduce momentarily, because he really put this all together. We said, wouldn't it be great to have a pitch event? And then we were kind of stumped. Where do we go next? And it turns out Roger said, in kind of the Superman way, with the cape flowing behind him, I could do it. And so he did. Roger is a business and tax lawyer here in the Silicon Valley. He runs his own law firm. He is a repeat player at events like this. So for him, this was a comparative snap. If we had done this, it would have taken us a couple of years and it would have been inferior. So with that, I want to turn the podium over to Roger. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Well, first of all, I want to welcome all of you to Silicon Valley, sort of the center of the technology universe. At least those of us who live here tend to think so. And the first thing I have to do is I have to comment on the irony. When I was in law, I have a group of law professors sitting in front of me now, and I just think of all the time I was in law school, sitting in a crowd and they were standing up talking. And you know, the thing is I also felt really bad about the fact that I sat in the back of the room. And I look at all these empty seats up front. I feel a lot better about it now. So we have put together a pitch event for you today, and knowing who you are and your backgrounds, we've got a really interesting mix of companies here. They're all startup companies, but like I say, this is Technology Valley, and we've got some interesting technologies. We've got people that are in health tech. You're going to see companies that do this new area of transportation tech. We've even got a company that is leveraging the right to publicity, which is something that's been, there's been some legal developments in that area, as some of you know. So you're going to see some interesting things. Social media, we've got a company that is got a very interesting security platform, because security is very important these days. So here's how it works. The pitch is going to be 5 minutes each. Each presenter gets 5 minutes. They go through their presentation. At the end of the 5 minutes, our panel judges ask their questions. 3 minutes to ask questions. I'm going to be cutting people off at the end of 5 and at the end of 3. We're going to stay within these timelines very strictly. Okay, and then at the end of the pitch event, we've got 7 of them. The judges will vote, they'll pick a winner, and the winner gets an hour meeting with a VC, which is a pretty valuable commodity in this valley. So one last thing I want to mention. This is a somewhat public forum. People can walk in and out of these doors. So we've had some recent developments in the securities laws. I don't know if any of you teach that, but because of that, I want to remind the presenters not to mention anything about the security that they're selling, not to mention how much money they're raising. You can take that offline with the judges privately. So no public solicitation of securities. That's a very bad thing to do, okay? Bad things will happen if you do that. So let me introduce our panel. So our panel of judges, okay? So here on the far left panel is Inessa Obenhuber. She's with Seraph Partners here in the Valley. She is a very active, I guess we call you an angel investor. Okay, I got sound problems. Okay now?
Batteries.
All right. Well, I'll just talk loud. And Inessa's focus, I know you're very interested in women-owned businesses primarily, and also technology, and she even does a little bit of entertainment and real estate. So sort of a kind of a more of a broad focus, I'd say.
Not too many things about.
Okay. Mohanjit Jolly is with Draper Fisher DFJ. It's one of the very big name VCs here in Silicon Valley. Mohanjit, he also has an international focus. A lot of what he does is very international. I know you've been spending a lot of time in China lately as well.
China and India, yes.
China and India. And Dan Miller, and Dan, what's the name of your fund again? It's Cloud River?
Cloud Mobile Social.
Cloud Mobile Solutions. Okay, Dan is with an angel group here, a VC group here in town, and I know you're a very frequent judge at these sorts of pitch events. So thank you, judges, for being here.
Hi, my name's Eddie Godshalk. We change big data, transform big data into spatial data, GIS data, and export targeted lists. The first part, 2 steps of that process, doesn't exist today. We reduce the risk of the real estate investor, banker, real estate agent. And it's many years in development. By reduce the risk of the problem, this is the problem slide. Millions were lost in the last 3 bust and boom cycles. If you had a crystal ball, would you have done things differently? Every week, billions of dollars are bought and sold. There's more mortgages traded than of the 5 million properties invested every year. And I have a marketer usually does this for me, by the way. The critical problem, if you know, the critical problem, let's say in this block or in your zip code, what are the top 10 factors that affect prices? You ask a real estate agent that, they have no clue. That data is offline, not available. And why it's missing is the critical part, because it's not recorded. It's not property data, title data you'll have access to. What was the population trend or job growth in this block last month? That data is not available. We aggregate it, but just having the data in a database doesn't really solve the problem. Currently, there's no method of delivery because you can't dump it into a form, complex data sets. So we solve this problem. We solve it by adding the missing 80%, the job growth, the business growth, population trends, last month. Once you know what's hot or not, you can invest based on the proper location and area first, then the property, not just the property. Of the 300,000 blocks in the United States, which is the top one to invest in? Our technology answers that in a couple of clicks. So we drill down maps, collect these data sets that we buy and aggregate, and display it in individual. This is our patent technology, we're all lawyers, so we have an IP utility patent on this technology. Display this in real time now on your browser or your client's browser. So you can drill it down. Then we could filter it to find the top one. You order a report and why it's this is the technology that we've developed. Did I hear a time thing? So our competition, you're all familiar with Zillow's free data. Case-Shiller is a 24-month forecast, but we have a forecast 24 months for the blocks. And we aggregate all this into one platform. And that's the beauty of this, which is also a little hard to explain because we bring 4 or 5 different technologies and display them all at once for our customer. And you can let's say, if you're going to sell a widget, who's the top 2 customers to sell to in this area? Our technology answers it in a couple clicks. Our secret sauce, down. There we go. 24-month forecast. So you can sell or buy or sell at the optimal price. Let's see, I'll do this. I'll have to look at the keyboard, sorry. Real-time user-generated data maps, filtering, and geo-targeting. And visualize, find the right block first. If you find the right block in San Jose, then look at the foreclosures. You don't drive around. Why drive around? It's a waste of time. And if you drive around, you can drive around this block all day long and not know the population trends. That's the beauty of our advantage. So we sell to bankers, real estate agents, investors, anyone wants to reduce their risk. So target market. Here's our business go to market. We drive traffic. We have a pricing point of $199 or more. And we're going to sell to subscriptions so we can put the data sets on brokers' websites. Development today, I've invested over $350,000 of my own capital, invested in development. We've talked to a lot of brokers. I've exhibited at the National Association of Realtors. They all want the data, but getting it from our website to their website takes a little bit of capital. This slide I can't talk about.
All right.
And any questions?
What's your go-to-market? How are you going to get to the customers that you're targeting?
Our target market, the optimal, we have many ways, but the best way to do it is a geo-exclusivity to our customer, which SmartZip does by farming, direct mail, target the customer. But we could put our technology on Century 21s for this county or this metro market. They take over the exclusivity. It's a huge advantage to them, and we build our product right for our first customer, and then we go to the other markets. But it just takes a little bit of capital even to go to our first customer because the data's not free. We have a slick prototype we can demo to it, but it needs to be slicker.
Is it B2C or B2B? I mean,
So this is a B2B. Okay. We could be both because we have both. One of the reasons why we want to be both is to get the MLS data, we have to give some of this data away for free. And that's why we have to put it from to a more advanced cloud as well. So it's B2C for some, but our real target is B2B because that's where the money is.
So if I'm a real estate company and I come to you and I'm asking you, so what's the core technology here? So why do you want me to be involved in this platform?
It's data
How would you
visual.
describe it? Yeah.
It's monthly demographics and economics that cover 300,000 markets, large micro markets, and you can help your customer figure out the right target market to relocate or invest or when to sell, and therefore you can make more commissions as an agent or broker.
So what stage are you at this moment? What's your timeline?
We developed a predictive model, but then I found that consumers don't know what blocks or tracks or these local markets are. We've built a prototype of which you can type in address and see the visualization part. And we did the mock-up of adding some of the other data sets, but those data sets, like consumer profiles, cost us funds. So we have to raise funds to buy the data. It's pretty much what we need the data money
How
for.
far are you though from a launch of this, or say just a pilot program with one of these real estate firms that you mentioned?
It's 2 weeks max, because we have the demo working online, which took a long time to put data on maps. No one has data on maps; they have mashups. We have data on maps, which we have that prototype working. So it's moving to the cloud, uploading the new data sets is mostly what we have to do, and test our interface with our customer.
And have you built an app?
App's the easiest thing to do. The hardest part is getting it on the cloud. App is, we're designing our interface so it works on the web, on the tablet, and the phone.
Okay, time's up. Thank you very much. Qwikwire?
Good morning, everyone. So Qwikwire is a payments, billing, and invoicing platform designed for emerging markets. We do cross-border billing. So let's start with 2013. Last year, $15 billion worth of payments went to the Philippines. And all of that money came from 25 different countries. So who's making all that payment? These are payments for mortgage, for car, for rental, any kind of billing that you can think of. So who's making those payments? There's about 12 million Filipino expats living and working outside the country. The Philippines is one of those countries where there is a large diaspora, where a significant portion of the population actually live and work overseas. India is actually the biggest country with the most people living and working overseas. So they still have to pay their bills. Now, I'd like you to meet this guy right here, Juan Carlo. Now, Juan Carlo is a real person, by the way. He works in Dubai, and he bought a property in the Philippines for investment. And he said, I'm going to pay my monthly mortgage now. But most of these guys don't have no direct way of paying it. So they're going to use indirect channels to make their payment every month, services like these. So how does it work? This is how it currently works. So this is Juan Carlo, and he needs to pay his property developer, his monthly mortgage. But he has no direct way of doing it, right? He's paying from overseas. So he needs to rely on a third party. He has to find a trusted person. This could be anyone. This could be his ex-girlfriend or ex-lawyer, or if he's lucky enough, that would be the same person. And now he's going to use Western Union and send the money to that person, and that person will pick up the money, and then she will pay the property developer. Now she has to do this every month for the next 15 years during the life of the mortgage. So there's two problems with this model. Number one is it's a hassle for this person, right? Yeah, she has to do it every month. And number two, there's no security for Carlo because this person can just run away, right? And there's a lot of stories like that I heard. I can share you some of them later on. So how are we solving this problem? We created an invoicing, recurring billing, and auto pay option for property developers for now. We partner with businesses. We don't open a platform to customers necessarily. We are a white labeled business-to-business solution that partners with large businesses to be able to send billing and invoicing. We can make them accept payments from anywhere in the world, credit card and ACH. And this is what powers our platform. Basically, our partnership with these banks, Wells Fargo, Bank Card USA. The two largest banks in the Philippines is Metro Bank and BDO. This is our payout, our payout banks. They do our payouts. So now look at that. Juan Carlo is now able to pay his monthly mortgage directly. He doesn't need to rely on any of his relatives or friends. And traction, currently we have closed a deal with 5 property developers, and they have a combined 20,000 housing units. We did some transactions already, we did beta testing. Now we are doing a full stack integration. And last year, the mortgage market in the payments in the Philippines was $5.5 billion coming from overseas. Other types of billing, health, education, and other bills, insurance, $9.6 billion. And cross-border e-commerce is at $500 million. That was the market in 2013. Revenue model is pretty straightforward. We make money on the 3.9% credit card, 3% on the foreign exchange spread, and 6.9% in gross revenue. A potential revenue of $1.1 billion in the Philippines alone. But the Philippines is not the only market that has a large population working overseas. See all these countries, India and Mexico are huge. This is the team who's going to make it happen. I started my own money transfer company 6 years ago. These two guys, I worked with them and I went to school with them, and they are the tech guys. They build the platform. And Spartacus, of course, is helping us out, advising us. So what we need right now, we need an expert in payment security. So if you're an expert or you know someone who's a payments expert, I'd like to talk to you. We're looking to expand our team, so anybody here who does Ruby on Rails or any background in payments, we'd like to talk to you as well. And we're upgrading our underwriting account with the banks. And that's it. Any questions, just email me. Thank you.
Why did you decide to do the property development first?
Property developers is the kind of payment they make is consistent, and it's the same amount every time. And one of our co-founders actually has real experience with real estate, so it's a domain that he understands well, in the Philippines especially.
Because where I'm coming from is we pay our utilities every single day. We don't have to even invest in the property, so I'm just asking you a question from the market standpoint.
Okay. From the market standpoint, there's a real estate boom in the Philippines over the past 5 years. 60% of all the new properties being bought are being bought by Filipinos living overseas. So that is why. And they're sending $5.5 billion every year for mortgage payments. That is the reason why. Yeah.
What do you think the reaction is going to be from the incumbents that are currently being used for this money transfer, the Western Union, Zooms, et cetera?
Western Union, Zoom.com, and if you read the terms and conditions of all these companies, they don't like their platforms being used for business transactions. Their platforms are designed for cash-to-cash transfers. It is possible that they might get into the market, but currently Western Union does not have an online platform that accepts credit cards or ACH for cross-border transactions. They don't do that. It is an unknown. It's really an unknown. They might try to get into the market as well, but currently they're the option right now. So and the market for money transfer is about 450 billion to 500 billion a year. So and it's still growing at 8%. So there's enough room for them to grow in that area.
Actually, Western Union does have a platform where you can send it using your credit card, any payment to any part of the world. I usually send to Russia.
Not in the Philippines.
Okay.
No. I know that because I've studied the countries that, yeah.
Good presentation. One of our partners was an early investor in PayPal, so I'd like to talk with you. I don't know if you can hear me, but how do you plan on reducing the fraud, or potential fraud?
Well, we're a white labeled service. We don't open our platform to just anyone, just the businesses we partner with. We're not e-commerce. We're not, aside from the, there's no transactional, there's a very low risk of transactional fraud. As if I'm doing e-commerce, we have to mitigate, the disputes between customers and buyers and sellers, are saying, oh, I didn't get the package, or he didn't send the right one. This does not exist in billing. It's pretty straightforward payments.
No, but to add to that, I think that's a serious issue you need to keep in mind. So I'm on the board of a company in India where as soon as they opened up their platform to overseas credit cards, the fraud rate was 30%.
That's right.
Right. So in Philippines, I don't know what it's like, but often there are two-factor sort of authentication mechanisms to make sure fraud is close to zero. But that may not apply to overseas credit cards, for example, being used that may not have a one-time password type of a hurdle.
We're fully PCI compliant, and we tokenize all the information as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Hello, my name is Snyder. I'm one of the co-founders of Anchor, and we make applications for real estate agents. So let's talk about real estate agents for a second. Let's talk about our friend Realtor Bob. Now, Bob here, he might work for a big brokerage like Coldwell Banker, but he really runs like a small business. You see, Bob's got to take care of his own email marketing, physical mail, client database, client follow-up, financials, website. Bob's got a lot of stuff to do, and he's got to do it all by himself. My mom was a real estate agent. She suffered from the same problem that Bob has. You see, being a real estate agent is actually pretty hard, but we're here to make it a little easier. Anchor is going to help agents simplify and automate their day-to-day business activities and bring together the data across all their different applications so we can offer them really great business insights and customer intelligence. And by solving Bob's problem, we can actually solve another problem for brokers. You see, because brokers are really made up of a bunch of small businesses, they have a lot of disjointed data themselves. So if we bring that data together for Bob, we can bring it together for the broker, and now they can have business insights in a way they've never really had access to before. So we went out and we built an MVP of a really great CRM system for real estate agents, and we got it in the hands of some agents, and we tested with them, and we realized a lot of agents just don't want to use a CRM system at all. It doesn't really fit in with their workflow. And some of the agents that were using a CRM system, they didn't really want to switch. They didn't want to take the time to do that. And we were actually talking with an agent. She loved our system that we had built. She said it was way better than what she was using. But she didn't want to switch because of the marketing part of her current application. So that's when we realized, what agents really want is really great automated marketing tools. They're always looking for new ways to get in front of their client database. So we did something that's kind of novel in the startup world, and we actually listened to our customers, and we decided to make a pivot to our new application called Post Captain. What Post Captain does is it aggregates trending news articles in the real estate industry, and it automatically posts them to an agent's Facebook business page and their LinkedIn account. It makes social media a little easier for them and saves them a lot of time. We started this about 3 weeks ago, We now have paying customers all over the state. We're working with agents in about 12 different brokerage offices. Our customers range from Joy Budka, who's a new up-and-coming commercial real estate agent, to Ryan Gowdy. He's in the top 5% of agents in the Bay Area. Last year, he was named as Gentry Magazine's top 10 agents under the age of 40. We also have Nicole. She's an escrow officer down in San Diego, and she's using our application for her escrow office's Facebook business page. Now, we've done this in just about 3 weeks. Imagine what we're going to be able to do in the next year. Of course, there are some applications out there currently for real estate agents, but a lot of these apps are really old and outdated, and the number one complaint we're hearing is that they're just too difficult to use. Agents can't get in them really easily and figure out how to do things, so that they're missing out on a lot of features. The number one thing that we hear about our application is just it's super simple. It takes them just a few minutes to get in there, set it up, and then we take care of everything after that. This is definitely a growing market right now. Agents are projected to spend $1.5 billion on tech by 2015, so they're realizing more and more they need to be getting online. We've been seeing some pretty good traction with what we're doing right now, selling to individual agents, so we're going to continue to do that, but we're also going to start making relationships with brokerages. We have a 3-tier pricing model. So we have a basic monthly subscription for the agent. There's a premium subscription where they can integrate with MLS data and home sales transactions data. And there's a subscription for the broker where they can get those business insights for themselves as well. This is Team Anchor. This is myself, Steven Snyder. I'm the developer. We also have Dan Saltzman. He's going to be doing operations and business development. And Joel Gowan is going to be doing business development out there, working with the agents, building relationships with brokerages. Now, of course, we need to do a few things over the next year to become a really great, successful company. We're going to be crunching a lot of data, and we want to offer really great business insights and customer intelligence to our users, so we're going to need to get a developer who's really experienced with that. We're also going to need to get access to MLS data and home sales transactions data as well. Thank you, and I look forward to talking to you guys after.
Questions, 3 minutes.
So do you have any IP?
No, not at this moment.
So what's going to stop from someone else to copy what you're doing and enter the market space? Someone that may have existing relationship with brokers, say for example.
That could totally happen. This is something we've just developed over 3 weeks, so we definitely have kind of like the next step that we're going to do to help protect us from that. Our next step right now is we're putting information out in front of their contacts right now, so now we're going to start getting information back from that, like who's interacting with them, engaging with them, so we can really give them actionable insights about some people that they might want to start getting in touch with.
And how many users do you currently have?
We have
Unpaid?
about 12 users in different brokerages around the state.
Okay.
And is real estate the only vertical that you're going to target, or is that the initial sort of bowling pin, and then you expand to others as well?
Definitely, that's kind of like the initial area that we started, where we're really experienced with. But we've had a lot of people tell us, oh, like this would be great for our business's Facebook page for this industry. It's something that we can really branch out to a lot of different areas and get a lot of different customers on this.
I'd like to talk to you. We have a National Association of Real Estate that's a part of our group, and we have very big brokerages that fund our fund. So I'd love to have a conversation. SF Angels, thank you. We know the space well.
What's the cost for per customer acquisition going forward for you guys?
So right now, it's all going out and doing things like sales presentations at the brokerage offices. So they'll do it every week or two, and we'll be able to get ourselves out, anywhere from between 50 agents to 200 agents at a time. And now we're going to start looking at, our cost of acquisition for online marketing methods as well, so we can do that, grow a little bit quicker. But really, making deals with brokerages so that they can buy, the application for all of their agents would be great as well, because, about 50% of agents actually pay a technology fee for their brokers so that they can offer their agents some of this.
So who is advising you right now? Any people from the industry?
Yeah, so definitely Ryan Gowdy, one of the top agents in the Bay Area, he's helping us out with this. He's really great because he's like a lot of agents, and he's not really tech savvy at all. So if he can use it and he likes it, we know pretty much anybody can get it.
No, I'm not talking about not those type of advisors. I'm talking about the advisors who really can help you to roll the product into the market. Do you have anybody like that?
Yeah, we do have someone who's experienced. We have a young Han he's been through a few startups. He's been through 500 startups, and he's really helping us on that side of the business.
Of the $1.5 billion that you talked about that the agents spend, have you done a deeper dive into figuring out what % of that, or how much of that you could actually target?
You know, that's
$1.5 billion, I'm guessing, is everything, right? So it's a pretty small sliver, I'm guessing, that you could go after.
Yeah, correct. So that's the amount that they're spending on tech. It's a little hard to get that kind of data, so we're still kind of digging in deeper to find that. And there's also kind of other spending areas as well outside of that that we can get into as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, I'm MacGraham. I'm the founder of TrustCentral. This is my 5th startup. My last one I sold to Intuit. When we started the company, I had the idea of solving once and for all the going paperless problem. It's a big problem. There are tens of billions of statements that need to move from enterprises, primarily financial services, but also others, to consumers every year, very expensive. We spent 2.5 years on an R&D project to come up with a cryptographically centric solution to it. But in the process of doing it, we discovered that the going paperless problem is actually a manifestation of a bigger enterprise problem, and that is B2C and B2B communications when they need to share a secure document. So the result is where we are today. We have designed a single integrated product which is focused on this one enterprise problem. So what is the problem? If you look at the viewpoint from a chief security officer, he has built a secure network with firewalls, with his Active Directory, with his intrusion detection. Everything is cool except for he has one problem. He has users, and those users take sensitive corporate assets and send them off the enterprise to attorneys, CPAs, customers, prospects, all manner of people. No authentication, no audit trail, no security. TrustCentral solves that problem. So also, I went over going paperless. There's that problem we solve as well because we do use the same technology to do it. This come and get it method really doesn't work. It gets 20–30% of the people coming and downloading their statements, but it's not a full solution. We also include digital signatures. Well, why do we include digital signatures? As I mentioned, it's a cryptographically centric solution. We hired Dr. David Kravitz, who is one of the foremost cryptographers. He actually invented the digital signature algorithm 20 years ago when he was with the NSA. It's still the standard of the US government. So digital signing is a key component of the infrastructure that we use to accomplish this B2C communication. So I figured, well, if we have digital signing built into the system, how's about we offer digital signatures as a product because it's right there. So solution, as a technical solution, here's a dozen of the key components. We don't have time to go over it here. As a solution for the benefits, secure B2C, cross-certification between enterprises. We're going to work with systems integrators who roll out and support ERP projects with big institutions. We'll give them an SDK and training so we can roll out quickly. For going paperless, I get an email from Bank of America every month for each one of my statements that says, your statement is ready, come get it. How's about they send me an email that says, attached is your statement securely locked for you. That's what TrustCentral can do. And of course, digital signatures. So the market is huge. You have all kinds of enterprises sending stuff to all kinds of people, attorneys, accountants, insurance. You've got healthcare, where you got to get a prescription out to a pharmacy. You've got a healthcare record from some off-net provider who's got to get in, have it be HIPAA compliant. You've got, let's say the CEO of Ford Motor Company wants to send a secure message to the chairman of Goldman Sachs. How does he do it desktop to desktop? With our cross-certification between the two enterprises, we can support that. Government needs it. FEMA's got an emergency. They have to set up secure communications with local police, local support groups. We can do that very quickly. Going paperless, one bank alone has 70 million households as customers with 4 relationships each with annual statements. That's like 3 billion particles that have to go from the enterprise to that customer base. It's huge. All across financial services, there's a lot to be saved there. With digital signatures, most of the companies, there are about a dozen big companies that do them. Only 2 of them do digital signatures. The others use e-signatures. DocuSign does. They have 65,000 business customers. EchoSign's bigger, both e-signatures. What's interesting is they're very successful companies that sell a feature. TrustCentral is selling a product that solves a number of problems, that has a feature of digital signatures. Saves time, saves money. I leave you with 18 of our features and products and how we look on the competitive market space. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mac. Questions?
How do you monetize it?
I'm sorry?
How do you monetize it?
Well, we monetize it. Initially, we're going to do what I did in two of my last successful companies, which was selling to enterprise either vaporware or major upgrades to existing products. And that's going to be our phase one to get out there and it's going to be a licensed software sale. We have different ways that we can actually monetize it on a per user. Like with a financial institution, if it costs them $1 to put a statement in the mail and we can make that $1 disappear, we could charge them a transaction for how many statements they do. We could also, by letting them give away it free to their consumers and then say to their consumers, now they have a privately branded Bank of America application, the consumer does, and Bank of America says, hey, use this to talk to your attorneys or whatever, and they set it up with the attorneys and set it up with other people, and then this other person now has it, and he's being able to communicate securely, cryptographically, everything's pre-internet encryption, and Bank of America says, hey, if you open up an account with us, we'll send you your statements. Well, he can't get that from Wells Fargo. He's got to go get them from Wells Fargo. So now the bank has the opportunity to acquire more customers through the viral expansion of this within their own customer base, and their customer base is friends. So we could monetize that as well. There are a number of ways.
Did you build this yourself, or you had it outsourced?
No, we have, I may be the founder and put out the vision, but the design of this is Dr. Kravitz. I went through 2 development teams to get this done, and he's the one who figured it out. I have a development team right now standing by, ready to start the development. We'll roll it out. We can have it on the market within 6 months. We have it fully designed. I'm sorry.
So currently it is architected, but
Yeah.
the product itself is not.
Yeah, it's fully designed. We have filed, for the IP lawyers, we have close to 500 pages of just description filed with the USPTO. So there's a lot to say there's a lot behind this product.
I wonder if you're trying to boil the ocean, perhaps, a little bit, while the platform approach and having 18 features gives a notion of a complete solution. How much interaction has there been with your end customers and even the decision makers within the enterprises who are eventually going to buy the product in terms of what is crucial versus what's nice to have?
Well, that's a good question, because it seems like there's a lot to it, but again, we're going to sell a secure B2C product. From the viewpoint of a CSO, he needs to make sure that his users can send stuff off with authentication. Okay, what's behind the black curtain of all this complexity with all these components, he may or may not even care about. I'm just saying these are features that compare in the marketplace of people who offer certain things that are valuable in the consumer market. I wanted to have them out there so somebody can say, gee, this company, you look one column there, lots of people offer that. So I just did it for differentiation.
Okay, thank you, Mac.
Thanks.
Hi, good morning. I'm Nguyen, and I'm a co-founder of ManageUp PRM. So we are a SaaS enterprise personnel and resource management solution for healthcare providers. Our solution improves communication, coordination, and employee engagement so that we can drive up labor productivity and increase patient safety. So the problem is that the US healthcare system is just riddled with inefficiencies. Institute of Medicine estimates that about $130 billion is lost and inefficient just in the delivery of care. What does that translate into cost per average hospital? Just employee turnover, loss of productivity, and medical errors alone cost an average hospital between $16 or $18 million a year. So the problem has always been there, but why now? Finally, with healthcare reform and public demand for both transparency and accountability, as well as a shift to fee for performance, Now the industry has an incentive to change. So the industry is about 10 years behind in technology adoption, and one with actually a negative productivity growth. Pager and fax is still the communication of choice. If you're lucky, you may have a schedule printed on an Excel spreadsheet, or you have task reminders that are posted notes. If you need to find your team members, you walk around or you call around. Our solution, we provide dynamic, real-time information and quick task, easy to view, easy to take action on. The other complaint that we hear from our user base is that some of the softwares out there are developed by programmers, not end users. And here we have a fun, gamified, and easy-to-use interface. And a couple of examples of our screenshot. So here, when you log in, all of your tasks and to-dos are embedded into the transparency chart with all this tasks at a glance, and you can drill down for more details. Communication is categorized so that it's filtered by specific types. You're not being inundated by just emails. Squeeze is our gamified reporting and feedback system to really engage employees and also to improve their own process improvement as well as performance evaluation. Problem with team, now at a glance you can find out who's there and who's not, and if they're not, then where are they? You can also launch communication directly from here. And then our star feature here is a game leaderboard so that it's a friendly competition. You know how you are performing, but you can also know how you rank amongst your peers. So to wrap up, our key product feature is to improve coordination, streamlining communication, and increase employee engagement. The market opportunity for us is about $3.4 billion. But our platform isn't just applicable for healthcare. It is applicable for other industries. So we're talking about a $24 billion if we take over the whole US market. Our market penetration strategy is to go into high-value departments where personnel are very specialized, equipment is expensive, and so therefore downtime is extremely expensive. And from there, we will grow virally throughout their ecosystem. Business model, we will be having a native app where we can have a premium model to promote adoption and viral marketing. But the main source of our revenue will be coming from a SaaS platform subscription and SaaS content subscription. Our management team has about 40 years plus of experience, both from the front end as well as general industry experience. Our development team, Ashwin has over 12 years of software development experience in healthcare IT. Brandon, who is an MD as well as an MBA, has expertise in managing custom software development. In brief, we are a personnel and resource management platform for healthcare with patent pending platform. And some of our key differentiation is really high-touch engagement, continuous process improvement, and really to promote a safety culture, which is what we need in healthcare.
Okay, time's up.
Great questions. Lam, who's your current customer? Did you engage with some of the hospitals or any of the groups yet, or?
We engage with a lot of end users. So our approach is really from a team-based approach and frontline approach. So we engage with a lot of end users to help us to develop the product. And we have been in conversations with multiple hospitals, some, as well as ambulatory setting as well. A couple of them have, huge health systems, but we're talking to one hospital within that, and those are potential beta sites.
So what's the strategy really going and rolling into the market? Because it's a huge,
it is a very huge market, and our strategy is going into specialize in departments first. So we're not going to go into a whole hospital. We're going into a particular department, like say radiology or oncology. And because department to department of various hospitals actually look a lot alike, versus within its own hospital. So therefore we can replicate very quickly.
I see. Thank you.
So how does a purchase decision get made within a particular department? Because hospitals are, when you talk about sales cycles, 2 hospitals, they're very long.
Right.
And then, but are you pricing it at such a point, or thinking about pricing the initial modules at such a point that somebody can make a fairly quick decision to go ahead and pilot it, rather than trying to sell all the way up?
Correct. We understand that to get a whole hospital adoption at just immediately may be hard. So we are going into the department, and this department actually has a lot of power, and they tend to be more silo. So that's also the other thing is to drive up adoption that way. They're very independent in the way that they can make decisions. We would need buy-in from HR. That's probably the number one person. But the people who are really going to be championing for us is going to be department managers and directors.
So do you have direct sales personnel identified or that you can bring in to help you initiate these introductions into the hospital?
Well, both my partner and I have a very extended healthcare experience. In my last company, my whole customer base is U.S. healthcare hospitals. Okay. So we certainly do have that connection. We have not yet hired anybody on board to do sales. We're not at that stage yet. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Hi, I'm Hanna. About 2 years ago, when I was still a lawyer, I was driving in a very similar day to this. It's cold, rainy, and I was driving in San Francisco, and I just wanted to stop for a cup of coffee. And I was in a hate. 20 minutes later, I'm still circling the block looking for parking. And I was like, what was a really simple, enjoyable thing to do, getting a cup of coffee, now has turned into this ordeal. And I was eyeing all the driveways sitting there empty, and I said, wait a minute, I would pay $2 to park for 10 minutes to get a cup of coffee. And I bet you a lot of people would do the same thing. So an idea emerged. So what Spot on Parking does is that we turn empty spaces into parking for the public. And then we make money for the owners. We are part of the very new, very hot collaborative consumption market. If you've heard of Airbnb, they take empty rooms in your houses and they turn them to rooms for vacationers or for travelers. And they value at $10 billion right now. Uber, I'm sure is another very hot collaborative consumption company, and they share rides. So Spot on Parking, we use collaborative consumption to do parking. So the solution, what do? We are a marketplace, and we make use of empty spaces, whether it's a driveway, whether it's a church that only uses their parking lot on Sundays, or a funeral home when they don't have a funeral, for example. So we connect the drivers and the spot owners through our marketplace, and then we solve the parking problem for the community. That is our mission. And this is parking is funny. It's a very personal problem. We all understand it, and it's a global problem. So even the U.S. isn't the worst parking market in the universe. Actually, New Delhi has the worst, apparently, parking problem. So, so what we do is how do we connect the space owners with the drivers? We have a phone app. So with our phone app, you can find parking in real time. You're driving around, circling the block 3 times, like, oh, I can't park. Let's see what Spot on has. And then once you find the spot, you check in, you check out, and you pay on the phone. Versus feeding the meters, trying to predict how long am I going to be here, and then you put in 50 cents, and then you as for me, I see something cute in the windows, I want to go shopping, and I have to go back and put more money in the meters, right? So, and then what we have found out, and this is really our very interesting model that we came up with, is we offer an all-you-can-park subscription for our drivers. So in San Francisco currently, you can pay us a monthly subscription fee, and you can park in any of our spaces. And that model is taking off like crazy, and that's 90% of our revenues right now comes from all-you-can-park. So as soon as we launched last May, we started making money right away. So we have about 300 spots in San Francisco. We're pulling in $20,000 in parking revenue. And we've partnered with some companies. For example, the car sharing companies need places to park their cars. So GetAround is one of our partners. And we also partner with traditional parking garages. Believe it or not, parking garages their technology is very, very antiquated. It doesn't make any sense to me that once you come into a parking lot and you have to drive on multiple floors looking for that 2 empty spaces. I mean, it can be done better. So we actually partner with a couple of traditional parking garages, and I want to test that model out. And then we partner with local businesses. And for example, The Independent, which is a big music venue, advertises us as their parking partner. We also do, we're working with merchant associations in different neighborhoods in San Francisco, and they're very supportive because they need parking for customers to come into the neighborhood. So our revenue model is we have an hourly fee model where you park on the fly, and it's $250 an hour or a variation thereof, and then we have the monthly subscription that I briefly talked about, and then on the inventory side, we have unconventional lots, we have the driveways, and I have commercial garages. Is my time up? Yep. You kidding me? Okay. Sorry. Let's open it up to questions.
How did you generate your initial sales? How did you get the word out?
So believe it or not, we have done zero PR because I'm waiting. I was waiting for the right moment, and so the initial sales we went and talked to churches. I have a team of college students in San Francisco, and they go and talk to all the churches, all the auto mechanic shops, the funeral homes, and we get the spaces to list with us. And then on the user side, when I go into a neighborhood, we create an ecosystem. So the businesses will tell their customers, check out spot-on parking. Landlords would tell renters who call in to say, oh, if you need parking, call Spot On. And so there is like this ecosystem where everyone knows about us, especially like in the Mission and NOPA, we're very, very visible there.
So what's the revenue share model with these partners? How does it work?
So currently we do a 70-30, 70 to the owners and 30 to us. We're contemplating changing that model to more like a 50-50 model with a minimum. So. And as we get bigger with more spots, more, our name's more out there, we're probably gonna change it.
And how many spots do you add every week?
We, monthly right now, because we're very skeletal, we add 30 spaces a month.
How do you know how does someone know that for sure the space is empty?
So we have enforcement, actually. So the last thing an owner would want to do is, you come home and the driveway is blocked, right? So right now, our users are the best enforcers. So they actually take a picture of the license plate of a car and send it to us. And then we also we spot checks with our own enforcement team. And in the future, we want to crowdsource the enforcement function to the public, with an app. And every time they can tag a car that in our spot, they send it back to us, they get 20 cents or whatever.
So you have a law enforcement team, you have your own team. How big is the team?
10 people, and only 3 full-time.
And what's your monthly burn then? I mean,
We're burning between 50 and 20K a month.
Thanks.
Now this is a market that's ready for disruption. Yes. But at the same time, there are probably at least half a dozen parking competitors in the city alone. So is this truly a land grab?
It is a land grab, but the parking app business is a very crowded market. I give you that. However, on the left, the people on the left, and there are a zillion of them, they do not create new inventory for parking. The only 3 companies, we are one of them, and there are only 2 other companies that actually create new inventory by using underutilized resources.
That's it. Sorry, time's up. Thanks very much.
Hi, my name is Umida Stelovska. I am co-founder and CEO of PARWINR. So we have built authoring system that allows businesses to create interactive content to the video. So for example, you can create trivia, quizzes, polls, and other fun game features to the video. And we have this very simple authoring tool, even 9-years cannot use the tools. So the idea behind the technology is based on long-standing patent. We have got, it's almost 20 years old. It will be sometimes in July expiring. So any video that has an interaction and a feedback, the idea is patented on the video. So we have identified several markets who can use our technology. Marketers can use for more increasing brand awareness and consumer engagement. And agencies can also use our technology for launching campaigns. And even government and training, people can use the technology for effective learning. So the problem is we have spent millions of dollars into videos, and I believe that many people in this room have at least one video. So at the current stage, you do not know how video was performed, right? You don't know any information about the viewer. So with our tools, you can actually learn about the viewer, what they know, what they learned, and what they like, and their opinions. And you can engage them, offering them rewards. Depending on what purpose you use, you can even offer them related products to your marketing campaign. So this is the, what we call it, anatomy of the game. Games are nothing else but solving the task. Sorry. Oops. So we have, you can even take trailers and make it interactive content. For each click, users get points, and you can offer some rewards to it. So from the simple view of the video, we can convert into engaging content. So market opportunity is eventually most of the companies are going into video advertising, and it's a $8.4 billion market just in advertising space. And gamification also going to be one of those big markets on the spot. So we would like to be part of this market eventually. So why it will work? Because of any interaction has shown 98% click rate in the history. So we believe that people will learn more while they are engaged. This is competitive landscape. So there are several companies, especially more of them are in the media space. If you watch shows, you can answer questions. And so, but we have a platform, you can do it yourself. And yes? So revenue model is like, yeah, please.
So the revenue model is a subscription type of thing?
Currently, we have a subscription-based revenue model, yes, and we have now identified several different markets. We are in the client, company validation, product validation process. We've got 2 different clients. One is from entertainment, television space. The other one is from training, corporate training. So we are working with both of them. Current technology, actually, like you have an engine, it works. You can run any car, but depending on the market space, we would like to build up the features and target.
So what's the cost per video? So when the company comes, do they use their own footage, or do you create that footage?
You sign up for PARWINR account. In the account platform, we allow you to take the links from YouTube, Vimeo, Brightcove, and other resources, and you just put it in and you create the question and the task on the site. And you publish on your website back.
Do you have IP around this product?
The idea is based on a patented idea, yeah. The technology is built on the patented idea. So we've got, it is almost, I told you, 20 years old patent. In early stage, we have also got permission from Michael Jackson to gamify his trailers for learning languages. But at the time, technology was not that far. So now, actually, we started building this technology when a law firm contacted us on an infringing case, so that we found out the idea is now validated in the marketplace.
So how do those brands are monetizing your, by using your platform? For example, beauty, you've mentioned Nordstrom, and I see the beauty brand. So how do they monetize?
Okay, the first value proposition is consumer engagement and brand awareness. You can educate the consumer about your product. Second, we have a features you can make it, you can bring advertising into the content. So it's a advertising based. They can also, for example, I have my client from cooking who has a cooking show for kids. They will be using our platform for educating the kids and the parents about, ingredients, and they bring their advertisers to the place so that.
Just FYI, just ask them to give them a free product next time they're going to be using this platform. It's going to work much better.
Yes. Okay.
So you have a paying client, or is that a test model case?
We have got several, yes, we have got several paying clients. For big clients, we are working for proof of concept currently. Yeah.
And do you think it's small to mid-sized companies or individuals who would use the product, or are you aiming for the large brands?
It's very interesting because this is so valuable in many different markets. So we've got from China, India, from around the world, different companies, like the companies who, I don't know, the Udemy, they sell the courses, right, to students. The type of companies from China just got interested to use our platform. So we are getting many different types of clients approaching us to use this. So depending on, we have done different structure for pricing as well. Yeah.
In the meantime, I want to mention, you probably noticed the cameras here. The presentations have been recorded. You'll find them on our website, Royse University, we call it, royseuniversity.com. We also have a YouTube site, and we'll probably not make this one available as a podcast, but you can certainly access it. On Royse University, we have webinars on technology-related topics. We've done agri-tech, clean tech, life sciences, pretty much one a month on just what's hot and what's new in technology. Bitcoin, 3D printing. We have a blog post, a newsletter, articles, tons and tons of content. So if any of you folks would leave me a card, I can make sure to get you on our mailing list.